May 23rd, but that is, I guess, 20 seconds video
Now here I have,
for
see,
us.
in Java Class 2 I have already shared it in my Dropbox. In Java Class 2 I have already shared, this has been shared yesterday, I hope. Yeah, 24th. I have shared it yesterday actually. Maybe you can just, right? Just refresh your Dropbox, maybe you'll get it, okay? Otherwise, yeah, I've shared it because, yeah, you'll get it, yeah? No issues. Just refresh your Dropbox, okay? You'll get it. Fine. If you don't get it, just let me know. Just email me, right? I'll find out some other way to send it to you. Right?
Okay, yeah, it is there on website, but it is not in my Dropbox. It will come.
I'm sorry, your voice is not clear actually. What is that?
Okay. Actually, I see it on website dropbox.com, but it is not in my phone. It will come, I guess, today.
I hope so. Yeah, it'll come. Yeah, it'll come up. Not a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, even this code sample is there. You can just go through this. I've copied this class file, right? You can just import it to your Eclipse and you can just write it out. Fine. Yeah. So that is what we stopped yesterday. Like, till this more functions, and then after more functions we have used something on string builder. So we'll be checking on complete string builder and string buffer for 5 minutes, for a few minutes now, right? What is the main difference and what are the extra features we have in string builder and string buffer? What is the difference? And then we have learned something called array. Array of strings is same, just an declared array of string and then iterate through them, right? So that is what we have learned till yesterday, right? So now today we'll see, just see for a couple of minutes. So what is the difference between string buffer and string builder, and why do we use string builder or string buffer? The first thing ever, why do we use string builder or string buffer is in order to make, whenever you are increasing your text or some paragraphs, right, or some strings, so we don't go for using a direct string. Why? Because it is a completely immutable object, right? If you go for immutable object on higher products, there will be a much performance issues with that, right? So that we'll go for string builder. Why? String builder will work with only one object. So whenever you append or whenever you delete or whenever you do something, what happens there is it will just work in a single memory space, single memory object, right? Where whatever you change will be recorded automatically. That is why we use either a string builder or a string buffer. So that's the main reason why we use. Now let us see what are the difference between string builders. So there are all string builder and string buffer are almost same, not almost same, they are completely same. All the internal methods we'll touch upon what are the different internal methods we have, like how to use them. We just have few internal methods. So whatever the basic methods, static methods are there for strings, all are there for string buffers and string builders, and it has got some few additional internal static methods. We'll see that. Yeah. So the basic difference between a string builder and string buffer is, first thing is string builder is like can carry a heavier load than string buffer. First difference is that, where multiple characters, where whatever you see, it is you can persist some heavier data in string builder as compared to string buffer. And second main, yeah.
Srinivas, sorry to disturb you.
Yeah.
Can you share your screen so that I can record from my side?
I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot to share the screen. Okay, sure.
Thanks.
So we were just discussing with Ujjwala. Yeah, sorry Ujjwala. I was discussing with Ujjwala. I thought no, she is able to see that. Yeah, sorry. No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, now you guys are able to see.
Yep. Yeah, it's recording. Okay, good.
Okay, fine. Yes. Yeah, I've started recording actually from my side. Yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah, the main difference which actually people choose the string builder or string buffer, like how when we have to choose this is whenever we use something called threads. String buffer is something which is a complete thread safe one. Thread safe is nothing but in string buffer, whatever static method you use, so those methods in string buffer is a synchronized methods, right? But it is not in string builder. So parallel threads, if parallel threads tries to access string builder, so it won't work. But if you try to use string buffer, you don't have to use separate synchronization for those methods. It will be automatically synchronized, and whatever you do, right, it will be a thread safe, complete thread safe. If multiple threads are accessing at a time, obviously it will split up the request, and it will share the request in a queue manner, right? And then the request will be processed. It is a completely thread safe. So that is the main two differences, and main difference where. So how to choose these things are, if you are going to use only a single thread, go for string builder or string buffer. But if you are going to use them in a multiple threads, right, go for buffer. And if you are fine with synchronizing the whole method, then you can actually go for a complete string builder or string buffer. If you want to actually manually lock your method over there, right? Yeah. So that is the main difference between the string builder and string buffer. Two differences, like heavier one and the storage part and the thread safe part. Fine. So let's see some functions here, just internal, just a couple of minutes. So whatever, so we'll just take up string buffer or string builder, any one of, right? All the methods will be same as both. So we'll write it for one and we'll try to change that. So let's take up string builder. Let me just call this LOBJ string builder is equal to new string builder. So string builder will have, you can see it has got multiple constructors where you can give direct string builder and builder with some sequence and with some capacity. So we'll learn what is the capacity here, and string builder with some string. So by default, if you don't mention anything, the capacity will be 16. You can see here. So here the capacity is nothing but how many characters we choose, right? So that is the capacity. As your number of characters increase, right, string builder internally will increase its own capacity. And this capacity is not based on the number of characters you are giving. If you are giving 4 characters, it doesn't mean that the capacity of string builder is 4. That is called as length. Length is different from capacity here, right? So that is what. Let me just choose this. Okay, let me first this out of LOBJ capacity. Let me print this out. Okay, by default the capacity, so I haven't mentioned anything in here, right? I didn't give any of the character or any thing in here. So by default the capacity will be this. So let me give some string for that. So giving some string in the sense you have to append it, right? So let me just say hello, and you can see if I print this capacity, right, so if it is not going beyond the capacity what is default, it will give the same capacity, right? Because it haven't gone through the maximum, it haven't reached the maximum thing, right? So let me just increase this. Something as such, right? Now you can see 34. So how is this being increased? The basic formula for this is something like old capacity into 2 plus 4, sorry, plus 2. So this is a formula which is being used inside this string builder or string buffer to increase the capacity. So initially by default the capacity will be 16, right? As if the capacity increases by the existing capacity, right, what happens is there is a formula being applied inside this string buffer or string builder, and based on this the capacity will be increased, right? So that is what is basically happens, right? So this is something which is a hard and fast rule, but anyways you may see sometimes the different capacities also, but internally it increases. But here string is something, or string builder or string buffer are something, right, which don't have any limit of size. You can actually append your any bigger string, but only thing is it should not hit the heap size. If it hits a heap size, then obviously your remaining programs will go slow, right? The performance it may occur. So that is what it happens, right? So this is something which is a capacity first, and obviously you can also do something called you can make this capacity to not to grow. So you can just say JSP dot, we have something called ensure capacity. Okay? Ensure capacity is something which will actually ensure, okay, this should be the capacity of the string builder. We got to say that, right? So initially, let us say, if you don't have this, let us say I'm taking some 5 or 5 capacity, which is less than the existing capacity, right? Then nothing will happen. If I run this, the capacity will be same. And let us say I'm increasing this by maybe 50, right? So at this time you can see something, which is increased capacity, the direct capacity. I'm just giving to use this capacity as a base capacity, right? So this is a capacity. Don't confuse here. Capacity is something which is internal to string buffer or string builder, right, which is actually taking care of the load balancing. But the length is different. Here we are not talking about something which is string length. We are talking about the memory, how much it should hold, right? So that is a capacity thing. Now again, if you have some strings here, right, append is used to append your data actually. And let us say initially I have hello here, right? So if I append something called full, right, so it appends it. So we have seen this part yesterday. So this, so when you do this, right, obviously it is appended. And you can also do something called insert. So insert is something which is you can actually take up one string and you can insert wherever you want. So it is like sys out. Okay, let me make this. Dot insert, right? Insert have so many constructors, but you can just take one like let me have, like, I want to insert something at second index, right? And let us say I want to do something with space something, right? So see what happens to this. So you can see here from the second, right, it's just appending something like here, right? And then the next thing is being done. So this is something which is nothing but a hello, inserting something in between your the complete string, right? Just comment this up. You can see, right? So this is a insert, and again you have the replace function is again the same, which is, so now you can see here the main difference. I hope you have noticed here, whenever I have inserted this, right, it automatically changed this. But if you remember in string, if you do something like this, right, you have to assign it back again, right? You have to assign it back to something called string again. But here what we are doing is we are directly changing the value of object. So that is the main difference, right? And then obviously you have something called replace. The replace functionality, everything is same. You have to mention the start, let us say 1, and let us say you are trying to change till some 5 index, right? And you are just say some request, some string here, save it up and done, right? You can see this. See here, whatever you have changed here is being taken and then it is changing something. That is replace. Yeah, and we have one feature called reverse. You can actually reverse your string. So if you want to reverse your string, you can go for any of these string builders, right? It will completely reverse your string actually. You can see it will completely reverse the string. So this can be used only in this can be done only in string builder or string buffer. And then obviously you have a function called, you just see dot length. I hope, yep, you have some length. Yeah? You have everything as such, right? Whatever is there in string, you will have everything in here, and you have substrings, and everything is same as your strings. So this is string builder, and let me just replace this with string buffer. Right? You can see the same change here. So there won't be any change because all the functions in here will be same and will give you the same output as such. Okay? So these are the main differences and the main things what we have in string builders and string buffers. Right? So in real-time situation, just go for string buffers if you want to make use of, if you are working with a multiple string appending or something, right? You can just go for the string builder, right? And also you have one more function here. Yes, I forgot to mention that you have something called delete. You can actually delete some part of your what is the start, and you can mention it, right? Let me mention something of 1 comma end. Let us say I mentioned, okay, it is 16, right? Okay, let me give some 13 till 13 I want to delete, right? So it will delete everything, so it will keep the remaining part of it, right? And you can actually combine any of these two, right? I say delete, I'll just say dot reverse. I can do that, right? Because each and every method internally returns something called string buffer again. If you can see hello, right? And I can just say dot insert, right? Insert of, I want to insert 1, right? Let us say I want to insert something called hello again or something. Right? So you can go on up and same string. You can do this as much as you want. All the functions can be done in one thing, right? So this is something which is this, and you saw yesterday I just forgot one main thing in strings, which is a string split. So what is a string split and how do we split and what exactly it returns, right? Let me just give you
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
This is
Yeah, Push.
so we have a replace function, right? In replace function we are just considering the digits and replacing with some string. So can we replace certain character with another character using the replace function, or is there any other function?
You want to replace with, let me just
say I have to replace the spaces with some letter A.
Yeah, you can do that. Okay, we are just saying this, make it to string dot replace, right? Now you have old character with a new character. You can do that, right? But here you have to make it to string, right? This method is there in to string. Okay, so now all your but it will affect the complete thing actually. So okay, you can do that. So is this what your question was, Purushottam?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, correct. I'm sorry.
I have a quick question, Srinath.
Sure, Ron.
Okay, I know if we don't use the toString method, then does that mean that the program would output hash code? Is that correct?
I didn't get that. What is that?
Right. If we don't use the toString method when we sys out, right? Does that mean that the string will be returned as hash code?
Not exactly. Sometimes what you're saying is yes. Sometimes, like if I'm making toString, it doesn't mean that it may have to completely return the hash code again, right? So here there are two things. Whenever I'm making toString, which means I'm making my string builder here as a immutable token again. So I hope this sentence will answer your question, Ron. If I'm making a toString of a string builder or string buffer, which means I'm intentionally making my string builder to be an immutable token, right? Which means it can act in any manner, right? Because when I am making it as toString, which means I'm actually changing the object behavior here, right?
Okay. So what would be outputted if we remove the toString method?
If you remove toString here, right? If you remove toString here, which means string builder itself don't have something called replacing a character here, right? So that's why
I'm sorry. The toString above that. Sorry. The one that's above that. It should be at the top toward
here.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about this one. So it will return the same.
Yes.
It will return the same. No, even if I don't use this, right? Okay, I understood. So let me just sys out this. So you're talking about this, right? Sorry, you're talking about this, right?
Yes. Okay.
It will return the same string. It will return the same string. So you thought it will return something called memory hash code, right? That is what you are talking about, right? So no, it won't actually. I understood. Yeah, I understood.
Okay.
Fine.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So you guys understood what the Ron's question was, guys? Yeah. So let me just give that heads up. So Ron's question was, see, if you have something like an object, right? If you have some objects, like, so whenever you try to print those objects, right, it will give you the hash code. The hash code is nothing but the memory address of that object. So memory address location or some byte info or some combination of maybe hexadecimal combination of characters and numbers, it will be printed. It doesn't mean that is the data of that object, right? Sometimes, but here it won't return actually. As of now it won't return. But if you are using string builder in multiple classes, some other class, and if you try to print the class object, it won't give the string builder again, right? It will print something called hash of that. So that is nothing but an hash code, right? Whenever you try to print any object, it will give you sometimes hash code. But sometimes internally, whenever you try to print that, right, it will actually print something called numbers directly, right? It happens. So here, so what I was saying is, let us say I have an array, let us say, right, which is int array of I is equal to some int of, let us say, some 10, right? So when I do something called I of 0 is equal to 10 and I of 5 is equal to 12, I of 9 something is equal to 34, let us say, right? So when I say sys out sys out of I, right, so which means I'm actually trying to print a I object which is an array, right? If I run this, you can see internally it gives this, which is nothing but a hash code, right? You understood now? Now I here is an array unless I go and read something called index, right? It won't give my values here. If you see here, let us say if I want to print I of 0, right, now you can see it is printing the value. Otherwise I am trying to access the direct object here. Run this up, you can see it gives some location where it is being saved. So this is nothing but an hash code what Ron was talking about. Fine, guys? So it happens only with a few things actually, right? It happens only with a few things. So let me use toString here, right? If you use toString, it may, yeah, it is also again giving the same value again, but some objects will give you something called direct values as such. Let me take it as array list here. I'll explain you what is this, right? But just give you heads up here is equal to new array list maybe here, and just say obj dot. So array list is an object again, right? Add of something like hello, right? Obj dot add of something, right? Right? So let me just print this object directly without giving. So here again, whenever you add, right, obviously it is adding up each and every item in an array manner, right? So if I run this, you can see that it directly printed my array, right? So some objects have internal property that whenever I try to access, right, it will directly give all the items whatever it have, or it will give you the direct information. It knows that yes, I want this, right? You can see a simple difference here itself. If I'm using array, I can't get the values, right? If I am using array list, right, then it gives all the values in an array manner, in some disciplined pattern, right? So that is an author. You can also do obj.toString. You can do that. Even it will give the same pattern, right? Even if you do give or doesn't give it, doesn't matter. So this is nothing but a printing of hash code and printing of a direct values. Fine. I hope it is clear now, Ron. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Fine, guys. So let me just give an final thing called a split. So how split works? So splitting is here. I'm talking about splitting the string, right? I'll take it as split sam here. Try catch. So in real time, whenever you are programming, right, just don't forget to use try catch. Once you type in your method, always habituate yourself to first use try catch with a base mother exception class, right? It is something which is very good for programming. Right? Now here, so split, we use split for many things. It can be to read a query strings in HTTP protocol pages or anything, a small string split, right? If you want to read, if you have a bigger string, you want to read part by part, you can do that and all, right? Let me take a base string here. S is equal to some string. Let me give hello, how are you, something, right? Question mark, let's say, right? So now here I want to get the different tokens in string. Now here, for each and every split, you have to mention something called what is a delimiter. Now delimiter is not a special word here. So among the characters over here, you can pick any one character as a delimiter. Let us say I want to pick space as a delimiter, which means with respect to space, I want to split all the tokens, all the string items, whatever I have, right? So which I can do as s.split. We have direct function called split, where you can mention your character space. Okay. Now this split actually returns something called string array. It returns something called string array. Anyways, I am not handling that here, which is nothing but a string array here. Right? So let me just take string array of s1, let us say, is equal to maybe some string here, which is, let me just give some space here, character. Right? Now you can see it will give you the whole string array. So let me iterate through that for each maybe, right? In s1, let us say I want it as LSTR item, and just print this as LSTR item. Right? So I will use the same. Okay. So I'm just making use of this split and I'm printing it all. If I run this up, you can see, right? It will get splitted. So it will, anyways, right? With respect to the delimiter, so this is a delimiter here, right? I'm just using some delimiter, right, as a space here, and I'm just splitting it up, right? You can use any delimiter. Let us say I'm using some O here, right? O, and if I run this, so you can see based on O, it will split. So it will take the O outside the split, which means you don't want to, whenever you mention any delimiter, right, this won't be printed again. This will be, removed as a delimiter. You can see as something like hell, and then it printed until it got O, again H, right, and then from here it printed till here, which is V, right, and then it printed the remaining part, right? So this is how you split something, right?
Srinath,
Yeah.
Srinath,
Yeah.
what will happen?
Yeah.
Just removing for loop, if you print S1, what will that S1 will contain?
If you remove, okay, you want to directly print S1, is this what you want?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Just curious to know what the
Okay,
S1
it will
have.
print the same hash code because array. So we have seen something called int array, right? Before, integer array.
Okay.
It is the same array actually, right? It will give you the same set of this.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. Right, it will give you this. Right? Yeah. Even if you say toString, doesn't matter. It will give you the same hash code, right? Or the memory location of this. Right? So this is what is a split. And let us say if you give something which is not there. Let us say I'm giving is equal to, right? If I do this, right, you can see there is no is equal to in this, right? So what it does is it will give only one complete string, which is this, right? If there is no delimiter in here, which means it will return the complete thing to the array, right? So first it will check for delimiter. If it is not there, just return it out. That is a character. You can also delimit using your word here, which is, you can see I'm actually splitting my string using a word here, right? I just gave how. So it will give the string which is this, and it will split something which is this. Now if you have something like more things, right, obviously it will split it into more things. So that is what is a sorry, any question over there?
Yeah, so what if so we are printing s1.2 string, right? So it is returning hash code.
Yeah.
What if give s1 array?
S1 array in the sense
Bracket, close bracket.
so like this.
Yeah, just
Okay, you mean 0, right? Is this you want?
yeah, nothing. I don't want anything.
Okay, if you don't-
0, I understand that there will be a hello for
no, actually you can't mention without any size.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I hope this is what you wanted, right, Johnny?
yeah.
Okay, fine, sure. Wonderful. Fine. So anyways, see, here we just have gave a try that what is string array build printing. It printed something, right? But some objects may print direct values, right? So that is how. So these are we actually split using something which is character, or something which is word, or something which is not in this string, right? Everything will give you this, right? So that is what it is. So let us say if you don't have anything here, so what happens now? It may happen, right? Let us say you are actually getting your string and you are trying to, okay, anyways your logic says yes, I'll get something like my string every time, and in that string I have equal to every time. So what does it give? If I do this, you can see it actually gives nothing here, right? Because this is something null. It is not null, it is blank here. Let me just say null. You can also assign a null to an object, because this is an object type, right? You can also mention null. Null means it doesn't have any reference. Let me run this, right? You can see null. So this null is being printed here actually. It actually got an exception here. Why? Because we are actually making null to two string. You can never be able to actually convert to string a null, right? You cannot convert a null to string, right? So that is why we got some exception here, right? Null exception. Yeah. So that's how. So before splitting, always try to check something, which is if s is not equal to null, or you can just say s is equal to null, maybe just say something like return. That's it. Or even if something like s is dot trim maybe is equal to space or no value, then also return it, right? Or sometimes in Java, sometimes this may not work. Why? Because if you are getting a string from any other function, right? If you are getting, let us say, if you are getting some string here, string s is here, and as an argument, let us say, right? So you cannot say whether this is null or something. Sometimes even if you do trim, right, it will be a no character string, but sometimes due to some special character set, it may not show that this is a thing. But when you trim it out, right, it may not show that it is a null. Just go for length at that time. Just say if length is equal to 0, then return. Because I've seen this in real time that sometimes even if you do some trim, right, it will be showing this, but internally it may not work sometimes. So at that time maybe you can just go for length. Length will definitely work for that, right? So if there is no character, if there is internal buffer, whatever is junk is there, it doesn't matter at all. It will trim out and take the length, and it will show 0, right? So sometimes I've seen the situations where even if my string was no character string, it just bypass this. So at that time, so this was the remedy what I used, then it worked fine, right? Maybe you can just maybe remember this for future, right? So this is what is strings all about, right? And I hope you have understood the strings and all, right? So okay, let me just, for your convenience, let me just make it here, and let me just comment this out. Right. Okay, so if this, and let's move on. So now let's move on to something called collection framework. Right. Collection framework. Now, so before getting into collections, let us understand why we need collections, right? Which is very important. Why we need collections and how it is different from what the existing array. Right. Because collections is something which is evolved from arrays, actually, basically. Let me take a use case again. So the use case which we have already seen, we will take the same student class where we have something called 10 students, right? So now if you have 10 students in a class, initially what we did is, initially we try to create students like S1 is equal to, right, some ID, and the same way some S2 is equal to some ID over here, right? And so on. We try to create something like S10. If we have students 10 students, we try to create something like this, right? So now here the basic problem here was, as the number of items increases of same type, anyways we know that students ID will be an integer, let us say, right? So we know that the data type will be same, but as a number grows, we are actually increasing our number of variables here, right? So for that, let us say if you have 100 students, so what happens, you have to mention all the 100 different variables. If any one of student increases, which means we have to get back to this program and change that program to compatible for this number of students, which means the maintenance part of this program will be very costly, and it is not an optimized program anyways. For that matter, we got something called array, right? Where what we did, we just did something called int array of student. Let us say S is equal to, we just said something called int of some, let us say 1000 students, 100 students, let us say 1000, which means unless it as on as your number of students grows, right, obviously this will take care of all those increasing students count. Now here the maintenance will be easy, because whenever you want any, if you want to edit any like 23rd student's ID, you can just go for S of 22 and just change or get the value of student ID. It was much easier in arrays. So that was a comfort level when we actually seen a multiple same data typed array, or sorry, variables, when it got transformed to a single variable which is an array type of a same data type. So that was a comfort level thing. Now let's get into the array now. Now what are the different things which we have in array? Now first thing is, in array, let us say you have mentioned 1000, right? And the first thing is, let us say, so when we mention 1000, I hope you understand, if I make 1000, it means it is occupying some 4000 bytes, right? Or I can say like 4 KB, right? I can say 4 KB, right? 4 KB of memory is being assigned for this S. Now if you have only 10 students in a class, and if you are using this program, right, which means this S is saving, let us say, only 10 students. Now what will be the size of S? The size of S will be the same thing. It will not change. Even if you have 10 or 20 or 800 students, the memory allocation of S will be same, which will be 4 KB of memory, right? That is the main disadvantage here, right? even if you are saving one student, doesn't matter. Let us say one student is actually taking 4 bytes, but actually you are actually making this program to handle 4 kilobytes of a processor memory, where it is not feasible. That is the first disadvantage. Second one, now let us say tomorrow, let us say across some years, let us say in first year you got some 800 students, and second year let us say you have got 1500 students. So what happens to this program again? Now this array can hold until only 1000 items. If your students are growing, again what you have to do, you have to increase your count here, right, by student. Let us say you made it as again 2000 again. You just called an IT guy and you got a new build which changed to 2000. Now what happens again here? Until it reaches 2000, this program holds good. Again what? Now let us say to make it generalized, you just made it as some 10,000. Now what is the problem here? It is a very costly program again. Why? You're actually making your size to 40 KB. Just to hold a student ID, you're making the complete array as a bigger one. Now here, until it reaches some more 10,000, right, the memory will be wasted. So much of memory will be wasted, right, which is a costlier than again.
So Srinath, can we parameterize the
we
value
can we can parameterize this. We can parameterize the size. Yeah, we can parameterize. Now we can parameterize in the sense, like with respect to the students, right? If you are actually saving into database, let us say, right? If you are saving, see, parameterize is something you should know what is the original count, right? And then you can parameterize this, right, Jami? Let us say you are saving some okay, let us say you are actually working whatever students you are giving, let us say you are saving in a file or something, right? Now when you can actually have, when you have 1000 students, if a new student is coming, first you will query the database. Let us say it already have got some 1100 students. Then you know that you have to revamp or reinitialize this. So what you will do again? So whenever you reinitialize again, you reinitialize by, let us say 1, right? Am I right? At least you reinitialize by, let us say 1 student. So every time you reinitialize your array, right, obviously you are touching your stack to rearrange every item by these times. Again there is a problem over there, right, Jami? But you can, yes, you are right that you can actually parameterize this. This array can be parameterized, right? You can just say I here, and you can just say in I is equal to, let's say 01. Yep, this is right. You can use this because it just needs some integer type which can hold some size, right? So that is what. So was this your question, Jami? Okay, fine. I can't hear you.
Yes.
Okay, fine, sure. Yeah. So you can parameterize this. But only problem here again is there is one more problem here. Let us say you already have saved some 1000 students in your buffer, which is S, right? And then if you try to reinitialize again, reinitializing in the sense you are making a new instance again, which means if I do I, which means all your old 1000 students will be again vanished, right? So you can't keep all those things again and revamp. So what do you want to do if you want to reinitialize? You have to reinitialize and assign all the old students again to this and then add a new student, right? Again you have to do the workaround anyways, right? Because see, when there is something, a memory limit for that, right, there will be always a problem. If something is growing up and if you create a standard memory part, obviously there will be a issue sometime, right? Sometime in the sense that, let us take an example of same what we have discussed, like hard drive, right? Let us say your hard drive is like 500 GB hard drive you have. Let us say we are using some server. You're actually running your program, and the program is actually creating so much of log, and obviously there will be a limit, right? Until unless you add up a extra drive, so it will be a hit again. The same thing in here, right? So that was the main problem here, right? How actually we got into arrays, and the arrays again gave us some problem again with the memory allocations and the limitation what we have, something called this. Now based on all these, right, to solve all these things, we have got something called collections. Collections can do each and everything for you. So basically what collection do is, in collection you can actually maintain the multiple items and multiple items of different data types. I can save an integer in the same collection. I can save string, I can save float, I can save anything in that. But here in array you have to save only the data type which you have mentioned. Or you may get some doubt that yeah, I can use my array of object, which is something like object, right? Array, some, let us say some O is equal to new object of 10. Yep, you can say this. Yeah, so even in this array you can save any type of data types. You can save integer, you can save float, any type, but again there is a restriction, which is this, right? Now here it is something where you can save anything, and collection is something where you don't have to mention any of the size, right? If you are saving 2 items, it will go and get the memory, it will actually allocate the memory for only those 2 items only. If you save 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if it grows, your collection memory will grow. So it is completely dynamic memory allocation being done for your cache memory called collections, right? So that is where we have got something called collections, right? Where you can have multiple data types, and if you want to restrict your collection item, again collection is nothing but it is like, you know, it is like the child of arrays, right? Not exactly child of arrays, but it is something we can think as, so if array is a lizard, collection is an anaconda, right? We can just compare in that way, right? Because if any big snake you can take, right? It's a child of something called, it's a child of reptiles, right? The same thing here, right? All the array management, all the stack creations, all the arrangement of everything is same as what is being done in your arrays, but some tweaks. So some tweaks in the sense, when we actually come to actual collection types, right? Different type of collections or different things in collections, right? Then we'll see what exactly happens in collections and all, right? So I'm just taking a generic word here, collection. I haven't entered into what are the different types of collections and all, right? And basically, as we have learned in strings, collections also don't have limitations. You can actually go and add any number of items to a collection, but obviously collection is something which is again saved in, if you are actually making in a same class, it will be saved in stack, and if you are creating an collection in separate class, and if you are creating any object, obviously that the whole stack memory will be copied into your heap, right? Again it depends on either a stack memory or something called a heap memory, right? So that is what is collections we have, right? And operationally, like, it is completely same as your arrays. So if you are getting, but anyways, there are some internal methods in collections which will make your life easy. Like here, if you want to get anything, right, you have to say, again you have to use your indexing or something like that. So there you can get direct objects, right? And you have different iterators in your collections, and you have different something called cursors in collections, right, and all. So we'll just see collection parts, like what are the different collections we have, what are different why we have so many collection items, what is the difference between each and everything, what are maps, what is queue. We'll see here, we'll create a simple queue and we'll see how it works. And maybe we can also use something called, we'll create a separate thread again, where we'll see how infinite loop works in queue. We'll do that, right? We'll write a program on that, right? And see different flavors being used across collections, and what is the mapping here, what is the hash map, what is that sorting, what is how tree sorting or some sorting is done. You have sorting in collections, right? Here anyways you don't have sortings in arrays, right? But you can actually sort your items in collections, right? And we'll see the sub flavors of collections and all, right? So when we meet tomorrow, we'll see those things, right? Sorry, right? So we'll check out in the next class what are the collections afresh. Fine. sorry guys. Yeah, Ajay.
So next class will be on Monday, right?
Yeah, next class will be on Monday. Yeah. Okay. So we'll start afresh with complete collections, right? And you can go through. I'll share this video. You can go through yesterday's and today's video on strings, right? And if you get any doubt, let me know, right? So let me clear on that. So once this collections is done, right? So I'll give you the list of topics which we have gone through till now, so that you can just browse on the videos and all, right? It will be helpful for you. Fine. So any doubts in here, guys?
I think someone had a question about the Dropbox. I think it was Anu who had a question regarding the invitation to Dropbox.
Dropbox invitation. So okay. So who wants a new invitation? I don't understand. So does anyone?
Anu wants a new invitation. Because
Okay.
I don't think he. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Anil.
Yes, Srinath. Actually, the thing is,
Yeah.
I just joined yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking because I have to cover so many Java actually from the beginning. So
Okay.
I'm just trying to understand the comfort level. Then only I will talk to Balaji, and definitely maybe I will talk to you as well.
Definitely, not a problem, Anil. Yeah, I'll share that with you. You can just ping me your email ID, right? I'll just share the videos with you, right? Or I hope Purushottam. Hello. Yeah, I hope even you can take this G drives one, right? You can. I think Balaji will have his ID, Anil's ID, right?
I will. Yeah, he has actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Balaji has my ID, but definitely I would like to talk to him first, because still 21st classes has already been done. In
Yeah.
that case,
Definitely, you can. Yeah. Fine.
That will be a challenge for me to begin start from the beginning.
Definitely, you can.
Otherwise, I will use something.
Definitely, you can have a discussion. And again, tomorrow we have one backup class. I think Jomi will be meeting tomorrow, right? Jomi?
Tomorrow at the same time.
Yeah, tomorrow. Maybe at the same time. Yep. Tomorrow we'll be meeting at the same time, like not same time, like 1 hour later. I mean 7 a.m. IST, right? 7 a.m. IST. So whatever your time is now, we'll be meeting now, right? The same time. Right?
I'm comfortable with this time or after that hour.